Hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is doing well. Happy Monday. I know I haven't been on for a couple of weeks. I have been super busy doing all those makeup readings because I took time off. For those of you that don't know, my brother passed and my mother-in-law got very sick. And so I did like 100 or so readings in the span of like 3 weeks. And so now if you're waiting for one of the pre-recorded video readings, I am now just starting to get to those. But I mean, literally last week, like I just pretty much just collapsed. I worked way too much. So sorry for my absence. Because I know a lot in the world has unfolded for sure. But I just wanted to come on and, first of all, also to thank you to all of our, servicemen, women, and animals. And today is a day of remembrance of those that paid the ultimate cost, right? And I was saying this to the members earlier that, it feels a little strange on a day like today that we have a president that is not patriotic. And this is such a patriotic day. I also wanted to say too, this week I am closing out readings to the general public. So if you do want a live Zoom reading with me, go to dianeaquarius.com. I have 2 openings in July and 6 in August. And then I'm closing it out. It will be for members only. So this is it if you're not a member. And it is greatly reduced. I'm not doing the readings that like I used to do. I did want to show you though, that one of my members, Amy, she has these really wonderful candles. And I will put the link underneath. I didn't do it yet. So I will put it underneath right after this. It's called Healing Light Soy Candles, healinglightsoycandles.com. These are actually amazing. They are vegan. This one's mahogany teak wood and it has black tourmaline in it. It smells amazing. It burns amazing. I actually did start to use this. And it's made and farmed right here in the US. This one is Springtime Villa Amethyst, 100% vegan soy. I mean, look how beautiful that is. I wish we had like the technology that you could actually like go ahead and smell it. And she even sent me one of the, the wick trimmers. It came really nicely packaged. Everything is beautiful. Really high quality, very, very high quality. So I just wanted to share that with you. So I hope everyone is doing well since I, haven't seen you in a little bit. Oh, there we go. Oh, I see lots of comments. Okay. Hello, everybody. Hi, Marby. Hi, Soul. Welcome, Jackie. Andrea, Pamela, welcome. Okay. So I thought we would talk about a few things that, because in membership, we do the deeper dives and we get, we really get into things. So my members, we've been sort of getting into it. So one of the things I wanted to bring up was that plane that 45 was gifted. I use that term lightly, by Qatar. And, something just felt really off to me, not because of the obvious reasons with, taking a bribe, but something felt off to me about the plane. And so I went into the energy of the plane. I'm going to pull some cards for you on this too. When I went into the plane, it was interesting. I started to like pull back layers and I started seeing all this technology that shouldn't be there. Technology that you wouldn't expect in a typical plane. And it felt like computers, computer chips, software, wires, stuff that aren't, I mean, I know like there's a certain level of technology anyways in planes, right? I'm not talking about that. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. There is something in there that doesn't belong there, if you know what I mean. Okay. And the other thing too that I really picked up on was there is something about this plane that can sort of make it go invisible in the sense of not to the naked eye, of course, but to technology. Like they wouldn't be able to pick it up on radar. There was something that just felt really, really wrong. I didn't like how this felt to me. But also too, you know, I do think that October 2nd eclipse, I think, is going to change everything, right? So, you know, and the window starts in September. And I really do think we're going to be in a different reality by that time. And I think 45 is possibly thinking about, you know, where he could have like his own golden palace. You know, I mean, I know he keeps trying to add more gold to the White House, for goodness sake. But I sort of feel like, oh, the cards are getting jumpy as I'm talking. You know, like making some place that he can go to, that he can be comfortable outside of the US. Okay. So this plane, what do we need to know about this plane spirit? Okay, that's a little obvious. So Ace of Pentacles, this really has to do with bribery, right? Ace of Pentacles, a financial new beginning for him, right? For 45. This does not benefit our country, you know, obviously. Yeah, the obstacle, it does not benefit our country. You know, it's a loss for us. 5 of Pentacles. So, you know, apparently it would cost something like, I think like $200 million or something to outfit it to actually make it Air Force One and all of that. So yeah, this doesn't benefit us. And, you know, in this context, when we get the magician, you know, when he's at his best, he's working his magic, but he's also working his magic to get what he wants, right? The magician does things with intention. When the magician is like on his shadow side, it's an abuse of power. Okay. And so I do think that is what we're seeing. Yeah. And I think it's to make this sunny new beginning. This is to help. And that's like a lot of major arcana, big cards here. And eventually, yeah, bottom of the deck, Ace of Swords. The truth will come out about this. But yeah, something feels so off with that plane, other than, you know, the obvious. So if you were thinking that, you were dead on, I think. So now he has picked a feud with Harvard. Okay. And it seems, you know, I think if you're not paying attention, it seems like it's kind of out of the blue. Like, okay, you picked this university. Like, why'd you pick this one university? What's going on? Is it really because Barron didn't get accepted? And now he's, you know, throwing a temper tantrum. 45, that is. I'm not saying, actually, I still haven't really read that much on Barron. The biggest thing that I actually get with Barron is that he is very much going to be a world traveler. That is the biggest thing I get with him. If he does have offices in the US, it'll be more like a namesake, but I really see him more living and working outside of the US. I don't see him being, you know, like a real American, if you know what I mean, like living and working in America. I see him, you know, being elsewhere. So is this because Barron, because we don't have proof, but is this why he's picking this feud? Is this why he's picking this feud? Okay. Yeah, it caused him some anxiety, sleepless nights. You know, this was very upsetting to him. So he must have had high hopes, I guess, of Barron going there. But apparently, you know, he didn't get accepted into any Ivy League schools. The obstacle, 3 of Cups. He is not joyful and celebrating. He is miserable over this decision. So he wanted to change things. This is literally the card of drastic change. He wanted to change things. You know, so, and that's literally what he's trying to do, right? He's trying to impose all these changes on this really old institution. And by the way, I do think Harvard's going to be perfectly fine. You know, they're going to persevere. Yeah, and Harvard's going to be fine. They're going to come out on top. They're going to have to deal with this garbage, you know, but 10 of Cups ending a cycle. But this is also like the card of peace, love, and happiness, and all those good things. Someone said, oh, I just saw a question. Please discuss DEI. Yeah. I mean, under this administration, I don't see it coming back, and I don't see the Democrats fighting hard enough to do anything about it. So I would be concerned. I mean, and the thing is, like, you might say, well, I'm not a DEI hire, but like half the people are, and that's not a bad thing, right? Having the playing field evened out is not a bad thing. Every person that's a different color, that has any sort of disability, a challenge, women, I mean, there's like, more than half of the country probably falls under this. But no, I don't see and I think this goes right back to what I was saying. I do see an ending of both parties ultimately. I don't think, 45 is destroying the Republican Party, right? They're not happy. But the Democrats are also not fighting in the way that, I think most of us Democrats want them to fight. And so, I think we're going to see people really being more, not even third party, just like really just independent, just running on their own beliefs and that sort of thing. Let's see, what else do I want to read on? Because there's so much to read on. Oh my goodness. What was it? Okay, so the big beautiful bill, right? So like I told members, I said, yeah, it's going to pass. And it did. So now the Senate has to do something with it. And I think they want to get it done by July 4th. So what I am feeling is the bulk of it is going to get passed. I think the bulk of it will. What I think is going to get revised is the whole part about Medicare, Medicaid, because the Republicans don't completely want to destroy their party, right? They still want to get votes. They still have constituents. And so I think that part is going to get revised. Let's take a look. Yeah, see, even just looking at the comments, I can see like, yeah, you guys are disgusted with this Democrat, that Democrat, right? And that's what I mean. So that's kind of what I'm saying. Nobody is happy with either party at this moment. And so I think we're at that breaking point where something is going to change by the next election. Thank you, Dina. Dina likes my shirt. I know, like, it's, you know what? It's warm here. It's springy. I got the yellow out. I'm a yellow girl. I love yellow. So, all right. So what is the Senate going to do with this big, beautiful bill? What are they going to do? Okay. Three of Cups. Interesting how I was talking about like sort of like independence coming out. And I think that's actually, all right, so you have the Democrats and the Republicans, but then I think you're going to see Republicans breaking out. So I think we're going to start to see like there's like this other choice. Like you don't have to be a conservative Republican. And in the future, I'm sure we'll see stuff where you don't have to be like a certain type of Democrat. But this makes me feel like the three is important. The three is what I am focusing on. But also too, this is a yes card. So this is a card of, yeah, I do think most of it's going to pass. How surprising that this is the obstacle. If you've been watching my channel for the past 5 years, you know, a little Russian man here. It's kind of like, getting away with it, getting away with things. And it also makes me feel like there is a Russian influence, right? To so much of what now we're seeing happening with our government. it's being affected by foreign countries, right? That plain and simple, I think. Yeah, this is going to be the sticking point. So pages in tarot are children, and this is Page of Pentacles. So, you know, all that stuff about just totally cutting things away from children, taking away, taking like basically food off their table, right? And their healthcare benefits. That's going to be the sticking point. And I think that's what is probably going to be okay in the long run. It's not going to be cut as hard, but when I look at the bottom of the deck, there certainly are going to be changes, right? Changes to the country, but also changes to this bill. So, you know, I mean, we're sort of in for it a bit. But at the same time, you know, I still think that when I do, because I do an incredible amount of personal readings, the average person, their finances are really good. More people are starting businesses more than ever. More people are getting married, getting their dream job, buying that house that they want that I read on, you know, so like, you know, like I know when you look at the news, it's all doom and gloom, but I'll be honest, when I'm actually talking to people and I'm doing their readings, I look at their astrology, I look at their tarot cards, I talk to their guides. The average person actually is doing quite well. It's kind of like during the pandemic, like we're watching the chaos, we're watching all of this, and but like we're okay. You know, the majority of people are okay. And I know everyone's gonna say, well, how about this type of person and that type of person? And you know, I've talked about that so much in the past. I read for all types of people from all walks of life. My clients are very international. So any specific questions? Oh, and please too, hit the like button, because that does make a difference. You know, that does make it so other people can see the video when you hit the like button. And I will leave the comments section on for a short amount of time, but honestly, you know, I'm still grieving the death of my brother, and I think it's better for my mental health. The other thing that I did mention to members that I will say too publicly is I'm no longer answering emails. You know, I have like 10,000 emails that I have to go through, like literally, and it's too much. So I used to say, you know, I don't always respond, but I read them all. But now I'm actually to the point where I just can't. Like, I mean, I was spending hours and hours trying to go through emails, and you know what? It was exhausting me. And so that's why I'm saying, like, I have so few readings opened. If you actually do want a reading this summer, book it this week, because then it's gone. And that's that. And if you are waiting for a pre-recorded reading, it's coming, but I also need to like sleep, eat. I'm getting back to exercising again. You know, I am starting to do all those good things to take care of myself. You know, after this, I'm going for a walk. It's a beautiful day here. And then I'm snuggling up with my two cats. Both girls, by the way, are doing good. If you don't know, I have two cats in their 20s. Tomorrow we are finally, because I've been on the waiting list forever, we're going to the feline hospital. So they'll be meeting, and me too, their new vet tomorrow. Will there be an upcoming shortage? Oh yeah. Oh no, there's definitely upcoming shortages. Because I think, well, let's look at this whole thing with China. Okay. So he, you know, kind of said, hey, just kidding, right? With the tariffs with China, but the damage has been done, right? The damage is done. And I know everybody has told you in the past, like during the pandemic, stock up and this, and I was like, no. And we were fine, right? Like I remember, you know, I would always get this brand of soup or spaghetti sauce or whatever, but I would have to get like this other brand during the pandemic. With this, no. We will take a look, because I do think this is going to matter. You know, come the fall, when we are, you know, having to deal with the fallout with China, because it's just a 3-month pause. But so much damage has been done. Let's see. So China and tariffs in 3 months. All right. So to me, this is like a card of battle and fights. In a lot of ways, like this is like one of my legal battle cards, that sort of thing. So he's poised to fight. This is not a card of unity, coming together. The obstacle, yeah, I think, this is kind of like the card of like crying over spilt milk, being depressed, being sad, that sort of thing. Yeah, I think that's how we're going to be feeling with this whole thing with China. I mean, we're also interdependent. I think it's a great idea to bring jobs and whatever back to the US, but you have to have a plan and you got to give it time, right? I mean, it can take years to build a factory and, hire people and train people and all of that. It's not that I think that some of the ideas are bad, but the way that we're doing them are so chaotic that it's going to impact us in a negative way. Yeah, and here we are by ourselves fighting. So this is like us not getting the support that we need, right? So that tells me, okay, yeah, we're going to go ahead and really mess with China, and it's going to lead to shortages. Yeah, I do think that. But you know what, though? I've been telling you that for a while. We should all be prepared by now. Let's see. Do I see any physical wars breaking out on U.S. soil? No, I don't. If you're asking that because in July we come into the same astrology as the American Civil War, I don't see an actual civil war where people are picking up their muskets and sabers. No, I'm not seeing a war on U.S. soil. Could we be engaged in other wars? But we already are. I mean, in different capacities. That's not my biggest concern, I would say. But I think our wars are going to be more of, families not talking. People not seeing eye to eye, that sort of thing. Yeah, and not having FEMA, right? That's a real issue. These cutbacks on FEMA, like the whole reason that you're not hearing 45 talk about those tornadoes down south that like took out like 30 people and countless homes, and it's because he will not sign the paper to actually help these folks. These are like our brothers and sisters here. These are fellow Americans. And, we all pay our taxes. I don't care about getting some $5,000 check. I actually want agencies, that $5,000 check is not going to do anything, nor do I think we're ever going to see a $5,000 check. And by the way, I do think it was really smart that Elon is stepping back from the government, but I think the damage has been done. The damage has been done to his brand. I don't think anybody will ever look at Tesla the same. So I think he really did irreversible damage to his brand, which, you know what? That's on him. He's made it this far in life. He's not completely stupid. But when you start putting politics into your brand, nobody wants it. And the thing is, even if you like him and you have the money and you want to buy it, I mean, this thing has no resale value now, and they keep getting vandalized. So it's insane. Let's finish up with doing a 3-card poll. Like I always like to end on a happy note. This is Energy and Spirit Oracle by Sandra Ann Taylor. Take a deep breath. Okay. And just ask what message you should receive today. And then which one do you feel drawn to? 1, 2, or 3? Here we go. Number 1, up from the depths, releasing difficulty. So you see how she's like walking from the darkness towards the light. You can see the lights shining there. So, if things have been hard, things have been difficult, you are rising up and you are releasing those things that no longer serve you, those tough times, those challenges, all of that. Also, too, I want to mention members, do not forget we have live channelings this Thursday. And also, too, some of you guys, don't know, like, so in membership, in those playlists, there's an animal communication course. There is a mediumship course. There's like 24 courses, psychic development, how to work with the angels, how to work with fairies, how to read tarot cards. All of that is in there at the Awaken Your Mind level. So, and I keep it super affordable for that reason. And I try to, put a lot of courses in there. There's EFT, there's, my God, there's so many classes. There's literally like over 24. Number 2, ancestors. And it says historical connections and purposes. So connecting with your ancestors, your lineage, the reason that you chose the particular body that you're in. Because we all, like I find it interesting that the last time Pluto was in Aquarius, right? Because that just happened in November. That put us in the same alignment as the American and French Revolution. My ancestors, I had at that time, one was literally fighting in the American Revolution for America, and one, I am a descendant of Marie Antoinette, who lost her head, right? And so that matters, because now here I am back in America and being very liberal and wanting that American way of life. So how is your ancestry affecting you? And then number 3, I love this one, freedom. Moving on, letting go. You are breaking out of that cage. You are spreading those wings. I love that. So if you've been feeling trapped, stuck, isolated, restricted, things aren't going your way, you're not, moving forward, you've been really stagnant, you're spreading your wings. You're getting that promotion, you're getting the new job, you're getting that new house, all of that. And don't forget, guys, that Star Seed money class. I take you step by step how to start a business without anything woo-woo. It's very practical. It's down to earth. How to at least make $250,000 a year without any overhead, and in very practical ways. I take 4 different types of businesses. I give you plus visualizations and meditations and things that you can do too to help inspire you. Because I don't see people working at brick and mortar that much longer. I don't. Working for somebody else, being stuck in, traffic 2 and 3 hours a day, commuting. I don't see that. I see people starting their own businesses and making their own money and really living their best lives. And so that's why I did that course. So, all right, everybody, it has been a pleasure. It is so good to be back. And if you have today off, enjoy yourself, but let's also to keep, in our minds and in our hearts, the gratitude and thankfulness for, those people that did, pay the ultimate price for us. And don't forget about the candles. There is going to be a discount code down there, because these really are gorgeous. I wish you could smell them. They are absolutely beautiful. And they do come nicely packaged, and that's Healing Light Soy Candles. So, all right, everybody, have a beautiful day, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys.